Welcome to Diary of an Ex-Ho. I'm Cheri Hardman. I'll be your ex-ho, and today's guest is Keeley Wolf. So sit back, enjoy the episode, and remember the old saying, always a bridesmaid when you're a hoe. All right.
I'm Keeley. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. You can use she, her, they, and I am currently engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so first thing, I don't know if you've watched the podcast, but the first thing we always do, a marry, shag, kill.
Oh, okay.
And I always try to make it specifically for the person I'm interviewing, but I don't know you. So then I went to your page and I just stalked you a little bit, but you don't put a lot of personal stuff in there. So I was like, okay, that doesn't help. So then I found a podcast of you and I listened to it for a while, and you were talking about how to properly hold a mic.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me share my screen. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever done, but no, that's not what we want. We want this. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So for you, I have a mic edition. So I have three famous mics. So we have Michael Bublé, Michael B. Jordan, Michael Cera. Who would you marry? Who would you shag? Who would you kill?
I would definitely marry. Actually, this pretty much goes in order for me.
Really?
I would probably marry Michael Bublé, and then I'd probably shag Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
And then I'd kill Michael Cera.
Okay. Yeah, he looks pretty killable.
I'm like, you just give me those vibes that I'm just I would put effort in.
Okay. Well, that was easy. All right, we're gonna talk about sex now. Would you rather watch or be watched?
I probably would rather watch.
Because
I kind of like to watch people enjoy themselves more or less than them watching me, just because I like to know that I'm there for their pleasure as well, and I think it would be reciprocated. So I'd like to be the watcher.
All right, that makes sense. So when you were a kid, what did your parents or whoever raised you call private parts?
Well, my mom was a nurse, so I pretty much got vagina and penis right off the bat. Nothing too crazy.
That makes sense.
It's better than teaching your kids that it's a cookie, because if you go up to a teacher and said someone ate my cookie, some discrepancies there.
Right. Were your parents good role models for how a relationship should be?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There was definitely days where I learned that sometimes you have to compromise, and there were other times where I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't have had to compromise for that. There's give and take in a relationship, but I don't feel like it should have ever been one-sided.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. So has that affected you and your relationships?
Probably all of my relationships, actually. I pretty much grew up a people pleaser. So anything and everything that I could do to support somebody else, slowly forgetting about myself included. But in my current relationship, he doesn't allow that to happen. He's like, you have to take care of yourself before you can ever take care of this relationship fully. And so we've learned to actually work on ourselves while being together.
That's great. Yeah. How was he just like that? Did you just find him that way? Or
It's
did he
definitely,
notice? Go ahead.
I would say he's always been a very gentle and soft man. Um, I definitely have noticed that I can get on his nerves very easily, and it's always just like the small things that build. And I think that's what makes relationships hard is that miscommunication. You have to sit down probably at least once a week and talk about like, hey, how did I irritate you this week and how can I do better? What can I do that can make this easier for you? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the main basis of a relationship. You have to figure out how to work together when you're both human.
Right. I remember the first year of being married. My husband and I, it was 9 months from the day we met till the day we got married, which is fairly quick,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
we were two people like, this was my first marriage at the age of 49.
Oh, wow.
And he was 6 years younger than me, and he'd been single since his 20s. So we were
Oh,
die-hard single people trying to be
yeah.
married. The first year was crazy, just trying to uh not kill each other, basically. Seriously.
Because you're used to being on your own and you're used to having your own space. So then having to allow someone into that space is
Mm.
it's a change.
Yeah, it's really hard, but it's great that you have someone that like works with you, you know.
I'm very grateful, especially with a lot of the challenges that have come in our relationship. I'm very blessed to have someone that
Is he
communicates and listens.
is he involved in comedy at all?
He is actually a musician, so he's still in the industry, but he is a singer and rhythm guitarist.
Yeah. I don't think two comedians.
I've
Not
seen
usually a
it
good
try to
idea.
be done. The only couple that I know that has been together for a really long time, I've only seen one couple, and that's because they started comedy afterwards, not going into it after comedy.
Oh, yeah. Um, okay. So when you were a kid, I want you to think about like a time. This is what I call your sexual awakening. Like when you noticed, hey, wait a minute, there's something going on in this world that I didn't really realize was going on, whether it was changes in your body or um, just stuff that you heard or noticed. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I would actually say that my awakening happened because of the internet. I found it at a very young age, and I'm glad that I know what I know now is on the internet to help protect my future kids and my children right now, because it was a dark and twisted place, and I found out a lot at a very young age.
Now, how old are you ish? You know,
I just turned 25, and I would say that I was already exploring before then. Like, obviously you're touching yourself and you're figuring yourself out. So I found that out around 8. But then the actual imagery came around when I was 10 years old.
mm. Yeah, I remember my son telling me something he saw when he was probably about that age. And so we had to have a talk about it because it was not what I would consider normal sexual behavior, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to talk to him about it and go, well, most people don't do that. And, you know, don't feel bad if you like. I asked him if he felt aroused by it. He admitted that he had, you know, and I had to explain all that with him. So I was glad he was open and told me. But I thought, yeah, that's really probably fucking some kids up, stumbling across stuff they shouldn't be looking at.
And
Yeah.
that's why they have all the controls now. It's just because of they had the dark web and it was so easy to get there. You just search it up on Google and it was there for the display. There's nothing hidden. There
Mm-hmm.
was no mystery to it. We just looked up horrible things and we were given horrible things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, do you think that affected your love life, your sex life? seeing all that early?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was actually a very hypersexual person because of it. Um, it was almost like you couldn't get enough. And I I was a teen mom, so I got on that bandwagon at the age of 17, but I I was having sex at the age of 14, which I can't imagine children now that are 14. I was like, when they tell me that they're 14, I'm like, stay innocent as much as you can,
Right.
because you don't need to rush into it. Life is it's a long journey and you're going to be here a while.
Yeah,
So you don't got it. You don't got to find it right away.
right. Um, did you have any celebrity crushes?
Um, Now I'm thinking, I didn't get to watch a lot of TV growing up. So let's see. I don't even think I have one right now. I probably should get back on the TV and see if I have anybody that I'm attracted to still.
Hey, well, if you don't need that, uh, well, and it seemed like a weird question to ask after what we were just talking about anyway. It's like, uh, celebrity crush just seems so innocent, like
Right.
pop stars and stuff like that. Um, can you think of like well, if you didn't watch a lot of TV, did you watch movies? Any movies or no?
I couldn't even think of maybe maybe Tom Cruise, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, nothing too crazy. I've never been the type to be obsessed with pop culture. I barely know what's happening in the world now when people tell me this is happening. I'm like, is that really happening? That's terrifying.
Okay, so um, do you watch porn at all now?
Um, Actually, I don't anymore. I have a pretty consistent sex life where I feel satisfied, and usually whatever comes in my mind is better than what I'm gonna ever find online.
Right. Um, what's your definition of amazing sex?
Um, I would say where um I would like to say at least coming 3 times or more. Um, I I don't get to do a lot of positions now since my surgery, but I have been able to enjoy doggy style again, which is definitely my turn on. I get to hang out down there and not have them worry about it. Like, yeah, we'll work the DJ booth for a minute.
that's a, that's a good angle. The doggy style is a good angle. That's all
Yeah.
I can say.
I'm
How
like,
go ahead.
no, go right ahead.
How's your body image?
Um, it probably differentiates day by day. Um, there are definite days where I question, I'm like, how are you attracted to this right now? And like, why do you want me? But then there's other days where I'm like, you should want me. Like, look at me. But it's a mental health struggle just because I still have it in the back of my mind from childhood of having to hear you have to be skinny, you have to be done up all the time, you have to be desirable.
Mhm.
And I was like, I want to be desirable in my personality. I want them to get aroused by my creativity, by my personality, the things that my characteristics, not just she's got a big rack. I
Right.
like it. I like a guy that is turned on by my intelligence. And that's
Right.
probably that would be my turn on for a gentleman too. Like after my love language is acts of service. So like when he works on my car, when he cooks me a meal, or he asks how I'm doing, can I run you a bath? Just being taken care of. That's me. That's definitely my side.
Now that is the way my husband shows love is like, I swear he gets up every day like, how can I make sure his life easier?
I know, right? They
Like,
wake up
oh,
and they're like, how can I make it easier? And I'm like, I am a train wreck for you, sweetheart. I make your life a hell sometimes. And they still wake up and they're like, how can I make it easier so she'll be easier on me?
oh, so that's probably his motivation. Oh, no, I didn't think of it that way.
Exactly. I'm like, see, if you're nicer, maybe I'll be nice back.
You have any sexual regrets?
Oh, um, there's no room for regret because they were all learning experiences. There are some where I'm like, it could have been better. Sometimes you gotta treat it like a meal that you're like, well, I liked it a couple months ago, but then you go back and they change the damn recipe
Right.
and you're like, I don't like it anymore. So I guess that could be the only regret, but I don't have regrets. I've learned from every single experience. I've learned who I am from it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have anything left on your bucket list, sexual bucket list, or have you done everything you wanted to do?
No, I really would love to be at least once with a woman. Just once, just to experience it. I find women very beautiful and attractive. I wouldn't say that, oh, I want to change my turns. I want to go to the other side, but I definitely, I've already tried the threesome with two guys.
Mm.
So that was a lot. So I'm like, okay, maybe I need a little less peener and maybe some titties might help reset.
Would you have a threesome with your partner with another woman?
Um, I probably would. I've already had the threesome with him and another gentleman. So if a woman was to propose, or if we wanted to propose it in the near future, he's been very open. We've always been communicative about it. And I think that's what made all of the all of the sexual interactions that I've had with him have had no regrets. I've always been
Right.
it's been refreshing.
Yeah. Men aren't always the easiest to deal with.
You're telling me.
Yeah, when you find a good one, it's like, huh.
You're
Um,
like, my clothes are synced in. You're not going anywhere.
what's your Instagram?
It's killer.keeley.
Okay.
Do you need me to? I know a lot of
No,
people don't know how to spell Keeley.
I'll put it under your picture while we're talking. Um, so this is going to come out probably mid-February. Do you have anything
Okay.
around that time that you want to promote?
Um, see, February. Um, I'm trying to think of my calendar now. If anything pops up, I will definitely send it to you. But as of right now, I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Okay, but they can follow you on social media to see what you're
Yeah,
up. Yeah. All right.
always.
Now it's just story time where you can just tell me an entertaining story about sex in any way you want to.
I guess we'll speak about the time that I lost my virginity, actually. That was probably the most surprising for me. I definitely wasn't expecting it because the first time I actually lost my virginity, I lost it doing anal.
Wow.
And a lot of people tried to pitch in and they're like, well, that's why you grew up Mormon. And I was like astonished. So I was like, okay, I'll lose it the traditional way. And this gentleman put a Snicker wrapper on his penis. Fun size, mind you. And he looked at me and tried to say, "You're not you when you're hungry, baby." And that's definitely I was swooned from that day on. And that's how I became a teen mom.
Wow. I thought
Yep.
you were going to say that he was using that like a condom.
He did. He used it as a
Oh,
condom.
that's a weird
Oh,
heard.
that's at least he stuck with the food theme afterwards. He's like, okay, this isn't working. And he got a Ziploc bag. And he's like, I'll make you a sandwich, but it'll be mayo only.
Gross.
What? This is why we don't pay attention to teenage boys. We
Right.
don't need them. They say stuff that is just
Ridiculous.
they say ridiculous stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you should have just I should have left you in the basement at your parents playing video games.
Okay, now I have a question for you. So, why the first time anal?
Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know because later on when we did break up, he came out and said that he's actually homosexual. And so I think it was him that initiated it. And I, at the age of 14, they ain't got much to hurt you with. So I ain't feel shit, but I knew it happened.
Oh, you're funny. All
Uh,
right.
R.I.P.
All right. Well, that's all I got for you. You've been a really fun guest. I
Awesome.
will
Well,
um,
thank you.
talk to you sometime soon. It was nice meeting you. Enjoy
Yes,
the
you as
rest of
well.
your
Thank you.
yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.